Well, let's see here. You both get a certain amount of glory. This is taking forever to get to. Okay. You both get 35 glory for defeating your enemy.
Alright.
You also get another 20 glory for partaking in the Battle of Perdue Forest.
Oh, that was the battle?
Yep.
Alright.
You guys caught the tail end of it. As far, to be clear, you guys were literally on the... You caught them while they're retreating phase.
Mm-hmm.
Or, more correctly, their routing phase. So, yeah, the Jutes are completely wrecked at Kent. Like, the Kentish Jutes at Southwark are almost completely destroyed by Ale. In the coming weeks, the forces of Malden will be retaken by Hertford, Huntington, and an alliance from Fens. Unfortunately, the Essex border is then threatened by the Angles, who land in Anglia and retake it quickly. So while Kent might be being pushed back, Anglia shows up and is like, hey, what's up? How's it going?
So, I suppose our first order of business is heading back to London to both collect our payment and to get Sir Civ treated.
Okay.
That hurts.
Ransom and Blood Parties, Chapter 8. Excellent. So, while you're in London, for a while, King Ale's quartermaster refuses to pay any British mercenary knights. That goes on for a week or two, and then finally, Ale himself goes down, kills his quartermaster, and opens his treasury to British knights to each take their share directly from his holdings. So you are all paid 10, except for Sir Steve, who gets nothing.
They sort of glossed over that.
Plus over what?
He kills his... He won't pay it, so he kills the guy and then pays it.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
Saxon life, yo. Get real.
It's our knock life.
Alright, so... Alright, so we did that. Who's the best doctor around, and what's their skill roll?
You guys can each take 12 pounds from ransoming your Saxon captors directly to King Ale,
Alright.
who will then cut their bonds and turn them into Essexian Saxons, to which they gladly go, willingly, to the winning side.
It's Saxon life.
Yeah, Saxon life. Gotta roll their way. Ale will provide you a free doctor who does chirurgery your wound. So during your 2 weeks in London, he treats most of the problem. So over the course of 2 Sundays, you will gain back your healing rate twice.
Glorious.
So, yeah, King Ale, it kind of presents you during a Saxonist feast, which is absolutely nothing like a British feast. Instead of it being held in like a very refined atmosphere, there's a lot of like jesters, there's many women going around, and occasionally men as well for, let's call them sexual favors. But it's a very similar atmosphere. There's a lot of political games being played among the Saxons. Everyone goes armed as well. So there's no take your armor and, axe off at the door like there might be at a British feast, wherein you can't go before your lord armed. Everybody's walking around fully armed, and it leads to a lot of conflicts on the floor between drunk Saxons. So let me ask, do you guys attend these feasts? And do you attend this one specifically? Because King Ale was kind of like dropped it. He was like, "Hey, I'm King Ale. You guys want to party tonight? Party at my place. You know, center of Saxony in London."
I think it would be useful both in terms of intrigue to know what's going on and also just hospitality to accept his invitation. What do you guys
You
think?
hit that for me. The intrigue bit, yes, it would go. Though injured, he'd still kind of find his way around to talk to people.
So, yeah. While you're there, Ale is kind of like, and also check out these trained British knights who did exactly what I asked of them. We didn't even have to pay them, ha 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 ha. And everyone's kind of like, they did a really good job, but also we're laughing at you because ha 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 ha.
Yeah, I get paid.
He meant what he was referring to was the
bridge.
The bridge.
Yeah.
Where you weren't getting paid. And then a man introduces himself to you, Aidwald, and says, "Greetings. My name is Sir Switch. I'm part of the English."
English?
Yes, the Angles. We've resettled Anglia. I was wondering, how would you feel about turning Salisbury against the Essex-Sussex alliance? Pretty soon, Quelsham will be Saxon king of all this land. He'll be Bretwalda. He's come to take many British slaves. I've heard that you fight well, Sir Adwald. You and your Germain the Dragon.
Ales. Where am I looking?
Seems
Seems unlikely.
seems like a bad plan to discuss switching allegiance while at the feast of the man you are discussing switching against.
So he's like, the man just insulted you in front of the collective chiefs of 12 tribes. And at least 4 noble lords of your own courts.
Well, I mean, anybody who understands the whole situation knows that the insult holds no value. In the sense, we were paid in the sense that Salisbury doesn't have to pay the same tribute it has been, which was part of the agreement. So we did get paid.
He like chokes on his line. He's like, "You said Salisbury doesn't have to pay tribute."
It doesn't.
He immediately starts raising his voice. "Did you say, sir, that Salisbury doesn't have to pay tribute to its Saxon conqueror?"
Said Salisbury
Sir.
has already paid the tribute.
Oh, I see. What small testicles King Ale must have to bow before his own noble lords, the British. And that's when Ale stands up and is like, "You've had too much in your cup today, Swish. Perhaps you should go back to Anglia, where you belong." And then his son, Prince Aesquine, is like, "Perhaps you should go back to where you actually belong, fighting the Danes. How's that going for you, by the way?" And that's about the time where Switch, like, draws his axe and just throws it at Aesquine. What do you guys do?
Stay back.
Well, that was a definite breach of conduct. But then again, they don't have the whole hospitality rules, do they?
They don't. They play hardcore, man.
This is between them. I don't want to start a blood feud with another Saxon alliance.
Sir Seuss? Kai, you stepping in here in any way?
Nope.
Alright. Yeah, the axe catches Aesquine in the shoulder, and then it's just like all of the angles in the room are being cut down by like... And for every one of them, there's like 5 alien... Let's say Essexian Saxons. They're just destroying them absolutely wrecking them completely. Good times.
There's pretty much suicide on their part.
Pretty much.
So after a few minutes of battle, Ale like wipes the sweat and blood off of his hair, and it's all like curly and like messed up from all the fighting. And he turns to look at you, Aidwald, and says, "I guess he had a little bit too much to drink." And everyone's like, "Ah!"
The way he spoke, it seemed a little bit more planned out than that, but it was a stupid idea. I do agree.
Okay. Is there anything else you guys want to do in the court of King Ale in London?
I'm sure Civ wants to make an intrigue roll.
Yeah. Well,
What
let's
are you
start to
looking
ask around
for
about
in particular.
what is there anything. I'll ask around just to see if there's anything of note that people are talking about that's interesting, but I don't really expect to
Maybe
find anything.
See if there's anything about King Ale's campaign plans for the next year. Rumors of that.
Just general
That'd be
things.
cool.
Okay.
I'm just looking for hints.
Yeah, so you get word that the Duke of Lindsey is marching into Camliard to take Carrohage this year, and that he hired a number of Huntington knights, and that Ale is not pleased as a result.
Marching
of
to
this.
take where?
Camliard, Carrohage. It's in
Okay.
between Lambor and Orpheus.
And which Duke was it? It was the Duke of
Duke of Lindsey, who
Lindsey.
controls the Lindsey political alliance of Bedegrade, Lambor, and Lindsey.
Right.
Up there. Oh, Lindsay.
So, Seuss, what kind of information are you looking for?
I'm just looking for like any like up and coming like powers, like because there's just like in this world there's like a couple main powers, but I'm just looking for hints of any like more powerful people who are who are like unknown of.
Okay, well, yeah. You hear that the Orkney clan from beyond Hadrian's Wall, the farthest north point of the island of England, which would technically be like Scotland nowadays. You hear that the Orkneys are just so. There's probably a Saxon who's like, "Aye, the Orkneys. They're practically Saxons. They spend all their time drinking and fucking their own sisters." And everyone's like, "Oh, those Orkneys." Apparently, they're allying with some of the minor noble like Saxons up north. There's like many smaller Saxon clans have landed up there and are kind of vying for control. And the Orkney clan is like politically playing them off one against another. And it's becoming really obvious to everyone in the south, but people in the north apparently haven't realized that the Orkneys are actually growing in power as all of their allies are rapidly being devoured. But yeah, there's a lot of talk about how the Orkneys might become a new Saxon tribe.
Interesting. Well,
And also
I don't
insulting the
have-
North while they're at it because they're making fun of them.
Yeah. You know how it is in England. No one likes the Scottish.
Yeah. Well, I don't have anything else. I'm interested in the feast, unless you guys do.
I think we got to witness what we wanted to see.
Okay. All right. After 2 weeks of ride, you make it back to Silchester, and from there, Salisbury. By that time, word has come that while you publicly seek vengeance against the King Orcus, King Nantiliode of Escavalan is seeking aid of any notable knights who seek grudges against King Orcus, as he soon intends to set out and ride against them.
Well, I think
To be
it's
clear, he's not willing to pay you anything. He's just like, hey, you got any honor debts? We're about to go pay that shit. We could use you in the vanguard.
Who's inviting us again?
King Nantiliode of Escavalan.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm willing to join in on that because obviously I hate Orcus's guts. I have the directed trait to prove it.
How long is that? How long is the battle? Like, would I have time to fully rest up and everything?
It's been 4 weeks since the battle.
I mean, the battle to come.
I don't know.
What's your healing rate?
I need 3 more weeks.
So, you guys have actually met Nantiliod before. Probably not these characters, because everyone's pretty much died. But, he was part of the go talk to Orcus thing. You met with him very briefly during part of that.
Right.
I really want to lead a battle that I can take loyalty for the for Salisbury on, but I don't really feel like going out attacking Orcus is. It's not very defensive in the sense that I feel like loyalty applies.
No.
Plus, I can't lead a battle here. I don't think I'll be very supportive in the battle anyway.
Yeah, it's more of an honor debt one.
Yeah, so I don't think I'll be going.
I mean, Aidwald obviously wants to go.
Yeah. I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna stop you from going because I know this is Aidwald's like big thing. I wouldn't mind coming along just to witness the battle itself, but I don't think I'll take part in it if that's all right.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
Trying to study more on battles so I don't make misplay on words again.
Uzmarur, are you going to come?
I'll come. I do not know. I think I'll do the same as Sir Steve.
Okay, alright.
All right. So it'll be just Sir Aidwald, I guess.
Yeah.
Like I'll take part of like first aid duty. I'll help out in that sense.
After a week's travel, you arrive in the court of the King of Escavan, King Nantiliod. From there, he surprises everyone by riding out to Carrigssenin, which is north of Estragales, actually northeast.
Yeah, I see it.
From there, he engages in a small battle against the King of Beir Sheniog. And during the battle, he kind of asks, like, Sir Civ. He's like, Sir Civ, I have heard from many that you are an up-and-coming battle tactician.
I hope to be soon, but at the moment I still can't. I haven't had the right chance to prove myself yet, and I don't think this is the right place, if that's what you're getting at.
So, no, he says, I understand. Perhaps you'd like to look over these maps and tell me what you see. And he lays out like a battle plan against the forces of Beir Sheniog. You like to make a battle roll to kind of look over them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious that Nantiliod has overwhelming force versus them. And he's got a pretty solid battle setup. They're all horsemen archers and, like, all high up in mountains, just, like, firing down and throwing rocks at British knights. So he's got, like, huge legions of footmen with shields in front of phalanxes of archers that are just gonna pile on the hurt. But what's unusual is that he has himself and a small contingent of honor guard riding completely unsupported down the middle, straight, like almost straight up the side of a mountain.
Kind of like dangerously in the sense that he'd be easily picked off.
Yeah, I mean, there's actually nothing there. Like the center of the Briciog lines, according to his forces, are essentially empty. There's, like, no one defending the pass to get up to the archers.
So, okay, so the archers are the enemies.
Yep.
And nobody's defending the path that he's planning to take up to them.
Yep. And he's
Sounds
like
like
while you're looking over it, he's, like, looking you and just, like, studying everything you're doing.
Okay, so the enemy is not defending an area, making it easy for us to get up.
Yep.
So
Is this a trap of some sort?
So he smiles and says, "What do you know of Beir Sheniog?"
Is that another battle I should know of?
It would actually be intrigue.
Oh. I do know. I don't know how much I know, but I definitely know.
So yeah, you know that they have in recent times allied themselves with Estragales, but over the past few years there have been some issues between the two of them.
What is this called?
Bir Shinag.
Bir Sinog. That's so weird. Okay. So I know that there's been
Some strains between them and Estragales, essentially since Orcus took over.
I'll tell him what I know just so that I can confirm that I know it and ask what he intends to, like, what about this?
So he says, you don't suspect anything further is at play here.
I can't say I do. I can't say I don't, though. I guess.
That's good, son. And he, like, puts his hand on your shoulder. He's like, you'll make a good battle commander one day, and you've got a head for the political game. Just because you don't understand my strategy here, well, you'll see when it happens.
I will be sure to study your victory when it's done.
Watch closely. And so, like, later that day, he and his honor guard, like, ride down the middle of like, this pass that, you know, like, increasing grade. Can anyone involved, you can roll battle here. There's no penalty for failure. You can get a check if you succeed here, basically. Just to understand how the battle's going. So if you succeed, you get a check.
Alright. So, success.
Yep. Excellent. Okay. So what's happening is the English archers are basically like all horse-mounted, all with footmen with shields, basically like standing in front of them, blocking all the arrows. And both sides are firing at extreme range, very inaccurately. It looks like both sides are intentionally missing. And that's when the king of Birshanog, like, comes down alone with a hammer made of wood and no armor on, and just, like, screams challenges in Gaelic at King Danteliod. He's like, I'll fight you one-on-one to the death!
This seems very familiar.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen
have
this.
the memory of this sort of thing happening before.
Yeah, Danteliod just punches him very lightly with a fist, and King of Birshanog is like, I've been defeated. Alright, men, let's march! And, like, all of these, like, Irish archers just pick up all their gear beside them and fall in line beside Danteliod's forces.
This is a man I can get behind.
This was what should have happened, basically.
And you just hear sort of the slow clap. Well done.
So there is essentially no battle. When you arrive in Estragales, most of Orcus's loyal troops are stuck somewhere between Bristol and Pembroke on boats, or they've attempted to make a land march through Esquivalon and have been blocked by patrols. The patrols couldn't necessarily stop them, but they definitely have slowed them down.
Mm-hmm.
All of the knights have, like, retreated to their estates. Everyone's inside castles. So there's just basically Estragalian knights just riding free across Esquivalon, but there's nothing to do except, you know, like, raid and burn stuff.
So are we just waiting for Orcus and his boats to show up?
Nope. Danteliod storms the castle. And, like, as he's storming the castle, he says, Sir Aedwald, there's a reason in particular I wanted you to come with us. I know that your pater, so he's using, like, Latin for, like, person who led your family before you. I know that Aurelius, well, I met the man once. I can't say I remember much about him, but he was a pious, honorable man. Otherwise, I find it difficult to believe that such a knight would use poison against the king and be complicit in the act. Dirax, the son of the king, was unjustly slain. I believe that Orcus was behind all of it, and he may have in fact cheated in his duel with Aurelius. I wish to give you the honor of single combat versus him in his own throne room.
You do me a great honor, sir.
Do it.
Do you believe that you can face the man that slayed your paterfamilias?
Do it.
I will take on the challenge, sir.
So, yeah, so there, there's an epic fight going on in the background. There's like catapults going off. Things are burning. There's not a lot of defenders, but the defenders are very passionate. And the defense is well set up. Like, there's not a lot of people defending, but it's clear that they've been preparing for an invasion for some time. All of the archers have lots of ammo. There's lots of, like, burning oil everywhere. But there's heavy wounding on the Esquivalini side, but they just keep pulling back and sending fresh troops up. And eventually, together with Nantiliode, Sursus, and a contingent of honor guard for the king, you break into the throne room where, like, Nantiliode's like, Orcus! And Orcus is like, Nantiliode! And their honor guards are clashing. And Orcus is, like, pulling his gauntlets on and tries to make a recognize roll to see if he knows who Adewald is. So he's like, so, Nantiliode, you finally come, you coward. And he's like, testing his gauntlet. Who are these whelps you've brought with you?
Nantiliode, you killed my brother. Prepare to die.
He's like, I've killed many men. Who are you to think you are worthy to stand against my blade? And he, like, draws it out. And it's a World of Warcraft style ridiculous fucking sword that could never work in real life. You know, it's got, like, prongs coming out of the hilt, and the blade is like, whoop, whoop. It's super big at the end. There's probably, like, a gem somewhere near the end of the sword, too. Just embedded in the blade for no apparent reason. This is my blade, Jafalver. I had a witch from Ireland craft it for me specifically. Why do you think your blood is worthy to be spilled on my sword, the rightful king of Estragals?
Because I am the brother of the one who you falsely slayed to gain that throne. I am Adewald, brother of Aurelius, and I will end you this day.
Yeah, like, while you're saying that, he's like, Dirok had a brother, and he just starts laughing. He's like, Adewald, that tiny man, had a brother? Well, I look forward to notching my belt with your head this day. Alright, he powers up his hatred. Yep, he succeeds at his passion.
Alright.
See if you can succeed highly.
Yeah. Yeah, you both are impassioned.
Alright.
So he's swinging his sword around, slams against his shield. His shield is a sword with, like, waves coming around from it. He's like, so, you think you can stand against the true king of Ireland? You think you can stand against Orcus?
We shall see.
No
Power
talk
of
then?
strife.
Very well. And he just leaps in a battle with sword. I think he'll go first. And yeah, he's just gonna sword attack, normally.
Alright.
So let me throw his stats here onto this here token, because this might take a while. So
Oh, joy.
and he's got that many hit points. And his skill is quite high right now.
What is his skill, by the way?
His skill with the passion is 32. Sword.
Okay.
So that's a crit.
Alright.
Are you prepared to die?
He fights defensively.
Do what?
Fights defensively since he crit.
Wait, you rolled and then you said you're fighting defensively.
He had an opposing crit. I would have done it anyways.
Okay, to be clear, you have to declare your action before I make the rolls. We'll do that in the future. Apparently, you both crit. It is your turn to decide what action you'd like to